Hi, everyone. How are we? Good morning. Starting the day early. We got 2 live streams today, so I wanted to come on a little early and get this Halderson thing rolling. I'm trying to speed this Halderson trial up a little bit because we're coming off a really intense trial of watching something that was the Brooks trial. It was, it was exciting. This is more of a normal trial, although there are some great details. So, but really quickly, I got to show you guys something that I found this morning. I found the dimwit criminal of the week. Ain't he a Butte Clark? Allegedly unalived his pregnant wife. Why the women always pregnant? Why? And I wanted to show you guys something really quick where he was in court for just a little bit, because it kind of shows you a little bit about his state of mind.
There it is.
We're not going to watch this long. I just want to show you guys a little bit of this. Look at him.
All right, good morning. Are we good? Good morning. We're on the record. This is case number CR 4123-77. State of Idaho, Attorney Albert Best. My name is Judge Walker, Magistrate Judge for Teton County. Signed this case. I have present here in the courtroom Ms. Bailey Smith, elected prosecuting attorney for Teton County. Also on Zoom we have Mr. Randy Neal, prosecutor for Bonneville County.
He's airy.
I have Mr. Jeremy Albert Best present from the Bonneville County Jail, and Mr. Jim Archibald, who has been appointed pursuant to.
At one point, he asked what his charges are. I'm going to speed up because I want to show you guys when they told him what the charges were. Watch how he reacts.
Life and/or death and a $50,000 fine. The state alleges that defendant Jeremy Albert Best, on or about November 30th, 2023, in the county of Teton, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation and malice aforethought, and without legal justification, kill Mrs. Callie Randall Best, a human being, by shooting her in the back and/or right breast and/or right side and causing her death. Count number 2 alleges murder in the first degree, a felony, Idaho Codes 18-4001, 4002, 4003.
See how upset he is? I wonder if he just found out that she had passed away. I wonder if she was in the hospital and they didn't know and he just found out. I just kind of wondered that, but I don't know. That might be a trial we look at later on. I just wanted to show that to you guys really quickly because I thought that was interesting. Let me see what everybody's saying. Welcome in, you guys. Good morning, Miss Patty. Just got home in time. You sure did. Show Crazy KC's in the house. Okay. Let's go ahead and guys, if you're not up to par with what's going on with this trial, we're not that far into it. I mean, I'm trying to pick out piece by piece of this Halderson trial. I have a brief description of what's going on in the below this video. And there's only like maybe 5 or 6 videos we've done so far on it in the playlist on my channel. So go back and watch that. And then you can, after you watch this, to kind of get caught up, and then you'll be all good. All right. So we're going to start out with this gentleman.
Thank you very much.
A family friend.
Good morning. Could you please state your name for the record and spell both your first and last name?
Michael Bolt, MICHAEL BOLDT.
Mr. Bolt, did you know a person people by the name of Bart and Krista Halderson?
Yes, I did.
How did you know them?
Bart was a lifelong friend of mine. Grew up down the road, and I got to know Krista pretty much as soon as he met her.
Did you know their children?
Yes, I did.
In what capacity did you know Chandler and Mitchell?
I am actually godfather for both of them.
Did you have contact with them throughout the years?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we would see usually holidays and for both of the boys' birthdays and around tax time because Bart did my taxes, so.
Okay. How did you come to learn that Bart and Krista were missing?
I got a text from my sister and she said, "Have you been on Facebook this morning?" And I replied no, and immediately went to Facebook to where I see that she had shared the picture of Bart and Krista and that they were missing.
And when you learned that they were missing, did you start to learn details that they had taken alcohol or gone to a casino?
I did. I believe it was when Chandler had his interview with one of the local stations down here. I was online constantly, looking for something, and I saw what they had reported or what he had reported.
And you were good friends with Bart. Tell me about his drinking habits.
When I was with him, if we had a drink or two throughout the whole weekend, that would probably be it. Sometimes we would go the whole weekend without having a drink, and it was never in front of Mitchell or Chandler. And
I assume, obviously, Bart was your accountant.
Yes.
Tell me about his habits with money.
I don't like to call people tightwads, but I would say Bart was very tight with his money. And he actually introduced me to his investor and suggested that I get something set up for my son as far as a 529 was concerned, which I took his advice, and I know he put money away for the children. And, we had conversations about it. And
did you ever know him to gamble?
No. I could have given Bart a $100 bill, and I think he would have gave it back and said, "No, we're not going." I don't ever think that he stepped foot in a casino as far as I'm aware.
At some point in your careers over your life, you worked in solar paneling. Is that fair?
That is correct. Yes, I went to school, I believe, in 2011, 2012, and then I got a job shortly after that.
Did you ever have conversations with Chandler about solar paneling?
Yes, briefly. Bart and Krista and Chandler and I talked about it, and told me he was going to go to school for solar energy. And I borrowed him a tool that I had received when I went to school, and we discussed it briefly. And that was pretty much the extent of that.
Did Chandler ever work with you installing solar panels?
No, he did not.
No further questions.
Cross-examination?
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you. May this witness.
No, Gerda, I don't think he ever did admit to doing it. In fact, that's why he's doing the appeal. I don't, which they threw his appeal out, so there was no merit. But at the same time, it's like a lot of us were wondering about whether or not he could say ineffective counsel because his counsel. I mean, you saw another one. Here's another one that they didn't cross. They didn't cross. I mean, I don't understand that. All right, let's go on to. We're gonna watch some stuff from one of the police officers now.
Good afternoon. Could you please state your name, both first and last for the record, and spell both first and last?
Michael Wilk. It's Michaelwilk.
And how are you employed?
I'm employed with the Dane County Sheriff's Office as a deputy sheriff.
And what are your job responsibilities?
I work a task force position. Within that position, I may be assigned to multiple divisions throughout the sheriff's office, including the bailiff's office, field patrol responsibilities, security in the jail, conveyances, And from time to time, I also am pulled for special assignments, which I was in this case.
And what was your assignment in this case?
My assignment in this case was to assist with video review, as there was a great deal of video that was brought in.
And specifically, were you asked to look at the video from a witness named Kelly Bennett's house, which was 111 Oak Springs Circle in DeForest, Wisconsin?
I was.
And how many hours of that video do you think you watched?
It was approximately it was 7 days worth of video, 24 hours in a day. So you can do the math. It was a great deal of video.
So you were the lucky person assigned to watch every minute of that video.
Yes, I was.
Ooh.
And what were you looking for when you watched it?
I was looking for all general activity that could be observed from the address on Oak Springs. I believe it's 4595, if I'm not mistaken.
So the 111 Oak Springs video shows at least a portion of the 4595 house and driveway.
Yes, that is correct.
During the course of this investigation, is it your understanding that this video was then edited just to show the moments in time where a vehicle or person arrived and departed from the location?
Yes, that is correct.
And you've had a chance to preview this video.
Yes, I have.
And were all the vehicles and persons that you saw arriving and departing from the Halderson home captured on this compilation video?
Yes, they were, with the exception of law enforcement vehicles on the 7th, because as there were numerous of them, those were not included in video.
Sure. Those didn't have any investigative leads since you knew
No, they did not.
who they were. And during the course of this investigation, were you able to identify what vehicles were assigned or associated to the Halderson home?
Yes, I was.
And I know you review lots of videos with lots of different vehicles. I assume you don't have license plates, makes and models memorized.
No, I do not.
Instead, you detail them in a report that you could review later.
Correct.
If I were to show you a report that you wrote in association with this case, would that help refresh your recollection as to the make and model of the vehicles associated with the Halderson home?
Yes, it would.
It's 1688 of Discovery.
So there,
And basically, there were 3 vehicles associated with the Halderson home.
Correct.
What was the make and license plate of the first vehicle?
The first vehicle was a Subaru Outback premium sport utility truck. License plate number was 34269 Union.
And who was that registered to?
That was registered to Bart Halderson.
What was the second vehicle associated with the Halderson home?
Second vehicle was a Volvo V70 station wagon, license plate number 34270 Union.
And who was that car registered to?
That vehicle was registered to Krista Halderson.
And was there a third vehicle associated with the Halderson home?
Yes, there was.
And what was that vehicle?
That vehicle was a Subaru Forester 2.5X premium sports utility with a license plate number of 718 Victor Edward Robert.
And who was that vehicle registered to?
That vehicle was registered to Dulce Melander. I may not pronounce her name correctly.
And in the course of this investigation, did you learn that was the defendant's girlfriend's mom?
Yes, I did.
So that was the car the girlfriend presumably drove?
Correct.
State would now move to publish Exhibit 49 to the jury, the compilation video.
so here's what I think. They're just showing this to say, look, the Halderson, Bart and Krista's cars came in, but they never left. We're not going to watch this in regular speed, I don't think, because I believe this goes on for quite some time.
Can we pause it just for a second? So Deputy, there's two boxes here.
Yes.
Is it fair to say that part of the video is enhanced to really look at the driveway that we want to look at?
Yes, the portion of the video in the upper right-hand corner is the true view of the camera as you would see it if you were to watch it without enlarging any portion of it. The bottom portion is an enlarged portion of the area that captures the front driveway and front entryway of 4595 Oak Springs Circle.
All right, thank you.
So basically, there's nothing happened up in the top right. Is that what he means? Okay. There's an SUV. Is that the girlfriend? No, that's the Volvo station wagon. Volvo departing. Okay. Volvo
So
station
fair to say
wagon.
on July 1st at 7:30, a Volvo departs.
Yes, that is correct.
Then she comes home.
And now we're looking at July 1st at 5:13 p.m. A Volvo enters the driveway. And then at 8:16 p.m., a Volvo departs the driveway. Is that right?
Yes.
So that was probably Chandler driving her car.
And then about 15 minutes later at 8:29, the Volvo arrives
Correct.
again.
8:29. That was so that was after, we think that was after he murdered them, we think.
And then July 2nd at 7:02, the Halderson Subaru departs.
Yes.
And that same vehicle appears to arrive at 7:31 a.m.
Correct.
So was he going to get his supplies to do what he needed to do to get rid of them, you think? Oh, okay. Now this is the friend from work that Krista worked with. This is him coming over to check on things. on
And then the labels
7/2.
do continue the rest of the video. Is that fair to say?
Yes, it is.
We saw his testimony the other day. So this is at 4:46 p.m. Just in case you guys can't see it close enough. It's just showing him come over, and then he left at 4:51 p.m. I hope you guys don't mind me moderating. For those of you who are just listening and not watching. All right. Okay, now we have the girlfriend coming over on 7/2 at 7:02 p.m. Didn't she pick up some supplies for him or something? Didn't he ask her to pick up some stuff on her way over, if I remember correctly? She got a bag. Oh. Yeah, she's got bags. He had asked her to stop and get some stuff. So was she trying to go through the front and he said, no, come around the back, come through the garage? I don't know. Come through the side. July 3rd. At 6:54 a.m. she leaves. So she spent the night in the couch fort in front of the fire. The creepy fire. Could speed this up a little bit. Let me see. I don't want to go too fast. We'll do 125. Hope they don't start talking. Now, Chandler's leaving. We know it to be him, okay? It's in his mom's car. And we're still on July 3rd, so 2 days after. This is at 7:47 a.m. And we think, was this when he went over to, for all we know, this is either when he went to go get more supplies or he went to dispose of remains, either at the farm or at that lake area. He's back home by 9:30. So I would say he didn't go far. He leaves again at 10 a.m. That's weird. Comes home for 30 minutes and leaves again. And he comes back in at 10:12 a.m. but then leaves again. Weird. Very weird, y'all. And then he gets back home at 3 p.m. So he was gone for several hours. So I'm thinking that's when he went to the farm on 7/3. I'm not sure if that's the day he went to the farm. It wasn't this when he went to the lake. And then he's leaving again at 10:08 p.m. That's crazy. What the hell was he doing? We're going to find out. And then he gets back an hour and a half later at 11:30 p.m. All right. 4th of July, he thinks his alibi is still good because the parents are supposedly at a parade, right? And it's 11:43 a.m. and he is leaving again. I'm wondering if this is remember they went to his mom's friend's house at one point, but I think that's later in the day. She arrives at 2:54 p.m., but he's not there. Because he didn't come back yet. No answer at the door. Oh, wait. Went in. Was that him or her? 3:06 p.m. She leaves. So I guess she went in and realized he was gone, so she left. Do these people not talk on text? What the heck? Or was he in her car at that point and he went in and came out? Okay, now he gets back at 7:30 p.m. and she's right behind him at 7:52 p.m. Okay. Kind of weird that he let her come into the house knowing that there was evidence everywhere. Maybe he cleaned it up at that point. All right, now we've got the Subaru leaving. So I think this is 8:30 p.m. So this is, I think, when they went over to her mom's coworker's house, the guy that testified earlier for the 4th of July stuff, right? And they get back home at 9:18 p.m. This is still on July 4th. That's awfully early. So she spent the night again, apparently. And she's leaving at 7:46 a.m. on July 5th. And for those of you just coming in, I'm referring to his girlfriend. At 8:47 a.m., Chandler is taking the trash out to the curb. Ooh, I wonder if the police got a hold of the trash before they picked it up. At this point, though, I don't think he was a suspect, but I wonder if they would have done that. I'd be interested to hear. There's got to be some evidence in that trash bin. You know, usually when you put the trash out, you put it out the night before. Why would he wait till the day they're picking up to put it out? Because he didn't want anybody messing around with it until it got picked up. I don't know. Anyway, now he's leaving. It's 4:30 p.m. He's been home all day. We got to figure out what night the fire was on, because I don't know the timeline yet. He walks so freaking slow. He would drive me insane having to deal with him. I'm like, come on, let's go, Speedy. Shake it up. I know a friend, her kid's like this. He's like really, and he's spoiled rotten. This is what this reminds me of. You can ignore whatever's going on in the top upper right, because that's those people's driveway, and that's not what the police are looking at. That's just where the camera was coming from. And the area on the bottom is from the same camera. It's just zoomed in to see the Halderson's house. You see the top of the truck? You see how they're zooming in that area? Okay, well, I don't know. They said he was leaving. Is he leaving? He's so flippin' slow. Oh my gosh. This kid. Ugh. Hey, Pop Jay. Hey, Psychic. I didn't know you snuck in. Yeah, we know that the father was shot for sure. All right, now he's coming back at 8:54 p.m. All right, you stayed home. July 6th, one day before they started getting suspicious of him or before he was brought in for questioning. At 4:30 a.m., he's out with a flash. What is that? That's the car, I guess. He's leaving at 4:30 a.m. It's on 7/6. I bet this was the mom. What you guys want to bet? Because he disposed of her near a lake. He comes back at 5:30 a.m. Only an hour? Well, we don't know how far the lake is from where he's. 5:53 p.m. So 12 hours have gone by almost. He's leaving again because I guess he thinks life is good. He's gotten rid of all the evidence, unless this is when he's going over to the farm. This might be when he goes to the farm. I'm not positive. I should have skipped ahead. We're gonna hear all about the farm incident coming up here soon. Not today, but it's coming up when the girlfriend's mom and the girlfriend's mom's friend testify. Looks like he's getting the mail. It's okay, Pop Jay. I would say go back and watch the other pieces. There haven't been that many. We're really only on day 2 of this trial, so you have time to go back in and kind of play catch up and just go look at the playlist. God, he's so slow. It drives me nuts. He would drive me insane, y'all. Put a fire up his butt. Okay, Subaru comes home at 8:52 p.m. So he's back. He's gone for about 3 hours. I wonder if that's when he went to the farm. Could have been. Not sure. Could have been, though. Okay, here's July 7th. This is the day that he gets taken in for questioning and everything. At 9:36 a.m., he leaves again. It's going to be interesting to hear how the police talk about each time he left what they believe he was doing at those points. I almost wish the prosecutor would have stopped and asked these questions while this was being shown. Maybe this detective or this police officer doesn't have that information. And he's back at 10:49 a.m. So he's gone a little bit over an hour, not long. $11:19 a.m. He's leaving again. For someone who doesn't have a job or go to school or do anything, he sure does move around a lot. But of course, he is trying to cover up a crime scene. So, Now, he didn't drive to the police station. They picked him up and took him to the police station for his interrogation. Whose white car is that? There's a white car there. Is that maybe Mitchell's? I don't know. Or is that a detective, maybe? He's back at noon, 12:08 p.m. He's back. Or is that the guy that was supposed to be working on the air conditioner? I bet that's who. I'm trying to think what he said he was driving. He said he was driving a white vehicle. Usually they are in a van, but He did. I just remember him saying white vehicle. Yeah, I think that's who that is. All right, let's see over here. I'm going to look at chat. Yeah, we're going to wean ourselves off of Brooks, Pop Jay. I got another one. I got another live with him this afternoon. Wonder how often he drove his parents' car before this. It would be really suspicious the amount he drove after this. That's a good point, Louise. But, oh yeah, don't forget, Coffee Cake says, don't forget he's hurt during all this. He's injured. He's got a hurt toe and a concussion, brain lesions, all kinds of crap he says he has, but he doesn't. This has got to be the AC guy. But I could be wrong. Could be a family friend. I don't know. But Chandler's getting in his car. Oh, he's moving it to the driveway. Okay. Or he's moving it to the garage. Let me speed it up a little bit. Yeah, see, that car's got a logo on the side. That had to have been the AC guy. All right, then we've got, again, he's leaving. Still on the 7th, which is the day that he ended up, being called in for questioning. It says 19:37 p.m., so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that 9:30? No, it's too light outside. I don't know what time that is. But it does look dark, doesn't it? He was gone about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And he's back.
Okay. And that was the full compilation video, Deputy?
Yes, that is correct.
So on July 2nd, we don't see any vehicles arriving or departing between midnight until after 7 a.m. Is that fair?
Yes, it is.
And I just wanted to point out one thing. On July 7th, according to that video, there was a white vehicle that pulled in. Then the Subaru pulled in. It looked like there was a little bit of interaction. And then the white vehicle pulled out.
Correct.
Were you made aware later that that was about an air conditioning quote?
There it is.
Yes,
Yeah.
something of that nature, or the general contractor that was doing work at the house.
No further questions.
Cross-examination?
No, thank you.
May
Yeah,
this witness
thank
be
you.
excused and released?
He can be excused but not released.
Excused from today, but not yet released from your subpoena, so don't discuss your testimony with anyone else. Thank you much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
State of Wisconsin calls Brett Halderson to the stand.
Oh, another Halderson? Is this the brother? That's his brother. That's the dad's brother, I think. Bless his heart.
Good afternoon. If you believe you can safely and responsibly testify without wearing a mask, it would be our preference if you could. Thank you so much, sir. Go right ahead.
Good afternoon. Could you please state your name for the record and spell both your first and last name?
My name is Brett Halderson, B-R-E-T-T, last name Halderson, H-A-L-D-E-R-S-O-N.
I'm going to ask you to grab the base of the microphone.
Move
You can sit
closer.
comfortably. That you can pull up closer. The fans are on right now, so it's becoming a little bit harder to hear, folks. Thank you.
All right. Brett, your last name is Halderson. Were you related to Bart and Krista Halderson?
Yes, Bart is my brother.
Were you the older brother, the younger brother?
I'm an older brother by about 4 years.
So you knew Bart his entire life.
Yes,
And you knew Krista, Chandler, and Mitchell as well?
yes.
What was your relationship like with Bart, Krista, and the kids?
General good relationship with them. We would have family get-togethers at holidays. We would talk over the phone occasionally, maybe send an occasional text message back and forth.
And how would you describe Bart and Krista as parents towards Mitchell and Chandler?
They were good parents, very nurturing. Krista was very involved with her children. I know it was mentioned like helicopter mom, but she was very attuned to everything that they were into. They were supportive in that anything they were involved in with school, with swimming. They were lifeguards. They promoted those things. They got them through Boy Scouts. Boy Scouts was very big in our family, and that followed through with them in raising their boys.
Okay. How did you learn about your brother and his wife being missing?
I believe the information went to my aunt and uncle, was referred over to my parents, and my parents gave me a call.
And Brett, just to put this in some context, what did you do as a career?
I worked as a police officer or deputy chief for the Menasha Police Department.
Ooh.
What did you do upon hearing that Bart and Krista were missing?
Initially, my first impression is statistically, they probably were out of phone range. Everything would be fine, and we would probably locate them or have communication with them within the next couple hours. So at that time, I believe I made a phone call to them just to see if I could get a hold of them, try to get things straightened out as soon as I could.
What is the next thing you decided to do after that in regards to them being missing?
After that, I believe just to get more information, I made phone contact with Chandler just to see where they were expected to be, what was going on with their life, where they were going, and I guess to find out the different avenues where we'd be able to make contact with them.
And what did you learn from Chandler?
He had mentioned that they were going up north. I think the big piece of information that was left with an unknown person or couple. I think the male was believed to be a Dan, and left in that person's vehicle. And with that information, I prompted him to, try to find out who this Dan might be. I did even mention about finding if the neighbors across the street had a ring camera that may have got in that vehicle and a license plate that would be able to help us identify the person.
Did Chandler seem to take your advice, and was he able to answer your questions?
Yes. Matter of fact, he had gone across the street, and then shortly after speaking with Mr. Kevin Linsmeyer, I received a phone call from Kevin Linsmeyer saying that he was over there, and just wanted to make sure that I was aware of everything that was going on.
Okay. What did you do next as Bart and Krista continued to be missing?
I know I had the opportunity to speak with sheriff's deputies and then later the investigators, and I guess afforded them any information I could, as well as gathering pictures for, lost people, a poster, getting anything that we could to help find them.
During this time period, are you in pretty frequent contact with Chandler?
I believe multiple times a day, yes.
Okay. Are you learning any more pieces to the story throughout your contact with Chandler?
As we spoke, and I guess was prodding for more and more information, he did reveal that there was health problems. I was aware of my brother having psoriasis and some arthritis related to that, but he did bring up the information that Krista had some type of cancer that he was recently made aware of, as well as, I believe, the small stroke. And with that, it opened up the possibility that they may have gone somewhere to receive treatment for that, and maybe just hadn't been giving that information to the family because they wanted to keep that personal.
Okay. During the course of all these different discussions you're having with Chandler, at any point does he float the idea to you that perhaps they're out drinking somewhere?
I don't believe that ever came up, no.
Does he ever explain to you that they took a bunch of tools and a large amount of cash to the cabin?
I believe he mentioned the tools and the cash as far as going up to the cabin to do some repairs, yes.
Did he mention the possibility of a casino trip to you?
He did not mention anything about a casino, and I'm not familiar with my brother or Chris ever visiting casinos for entertainment.
With your brother being a CPA, did it seem likely to you whether or not he'd have a large amount of cash on hand in a safe in his home?
Knowing my brother, I've never known him to have a large amount of cash on his person or in his home. He would have kept that, I would believe, more secure.
And he believed in investments. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
I want to turn your attention now to some of the other things that you knew or may not have known about Chandler. What did you think Chandler was doing as far as schooling?
I believe he was a student at the Madison Area Technical College or the Madison College. I believe it's changed how it's referred to.
And did you ever talk to him about like what sort of classes he was taking or anything like that?
I know Bart had mentioned in the past that he was involved in solar energy. At a holiday when we had gotten together, Chandler had mentioned that he was doing something with IT security, and he was in a class where their first assignment was to write a kind of a Trojan program that could be placed on a server somewhere, sent via email, that would, once placed, either by request or automatically would send information from that server back to them. And that was done as a learning skill for an IT person.
Okay. What did you think Chandler was doing as far as work?
I believed he was doing an internship at American Family.
Did you know of any more details as to what he was doing there or anything?
In talking with Bart, I believe it was something dealing with IT services, nothing more beyond that.
What, if anything, did you know about Chandler's potential concussion?
I was not aware of any concussion. Up until when I was speaking with him after Bart and Chris were found missing, he did bring that up as a point where he wasn't able to drive long distances or shouldn't be going out far, in his vehicle driving.
Oh, my word.
Before their disappearance, I was not aware of any concussion.
Have you ever went scuba diving with your nephew, Chandler?
Yes.
How many times?
I'm a scuba instructor. I was able to talk my brother into having him and his two sons trained or certified in scuba diving. I think it was in September of 2019. They had come up to my house. I live in the outside of Appleton in the Hilbert area. They had done the online training. We did a pool session, and then we did an open water session. Actually, enough dives to get them certified as scuba divers.
So in two locations, in the lake or some body of water and in the pool.
Yes.
So 2 times.
Well, yeah, at the pool and open body of water. Yep, and all within the same weekend.
Okay. Did you and Chandler ever have discussions about police diving?
I believe at some holiday family get-together after he was certified, he had broached the topic of what it takes to become a public safety diver. At that time, we discussed back and forth that it usually happens if you're part of a law enforcement agency or potentially on a fire department that has a dive team. And those were usually the 2 main ways of getting on a dive team. And then occasionally you'll find a civilian formed public safety dive team.
And how would you know that information?
I'm currently on the Calumet County dive team. I was on the Winnebago County dive team when I was working for the Menasha Police Department. I'm also a public safety diver instructor, so I work with numerous dive teams.
So that's where he got the idea.
And to your knowledge, was Chandler ever on a rescue dive team associated with any law enforcement?
No, he was not.
What about the DNR? Was he on anything to your knowledge?
Not to my
that?
knowledge, no.
Mr. Halderson, when was the last time you talked to your brother, Bart?
It would have been the morning of July 1st.
Is there any reason you remember that date?
Oh, bless his heart.
Because that's my birthday. Our family makes it a ritual of contacting each other on our birthdays. And that was the phone call that he had made to me that morning.
Is that the last time you spoke to your brother?
Yes.
No further questions.
Any cross-examination?
Good afternoon, Mr. Halderson.
Yeah.
Do you need a glass of water or anything? We can take a break if you need something.
I should be good for now.
And I just have a couple questions for you. Thank you. To confirm, you said that you live just outside of Appleton?
I live in Hilbert,
Okay.
Wisconsin. Yep.
Okay, but not in Dane County, Wisconsin.
No.
How often would you say you did come over to Dane County to visit Bart and Krista?
It was not very frequently that we were down there. They were very COVID conscious. So when COVID was around, they had not been up by us. They had not hosted any events. I visited them last September of 2020, where Bart and I had gone out scuba diving at Devil's Lake. And before that was probably sometime in earlier 2019.
How about just regular phone conversations with Bart or Krista? How often would you say you did that?
Very rarely would I have a phone conversation with Krista. With Bart, I believe it was every couple of months, every 3 months, maybe we'd have a conversation while I was out walking the dogs, and I would either just have a desire to speak with him, or I had a tax question, and it would be an opportunity to speak with him.
And as far as the information that you provided to Chandler about what he should do, is it fair to say that you were providing that information because of your prior experience in law enforcement, or something that you would have provided regardless?
I guess I provide anything to help find my brother and his wife.
But I guess, and I apologize, what I was getting at is the telling Chandler to go seek out rig footage or to talk to neighbors. Is that something that perhaps was a little easier for you to suggest because of your experience in law enforcement?
Maybe I was more aware of it because of my experience in law enforcement, but just knowing camera systems and knowing that sometimes they're not kept more than 24 hours, 48 hours or longer. And I wasn't aware of what Dane County was doing at the time. I thought it just would be prudent to try to preserve any information that would potentially have a license plate of a vehicle that stopped there that day.
Sure, and that's exactly why you provided that information
Yes.
for Chandler. As far as Krista's family, are you aware she's close to her family?
Objection, relevance.
Overruled. You can answer if you know.
I know she has brothers and sisters throughout the United States. I know she was very, very close with her mother while her mother was alive.
I have no further questions. Thank you so much.
Any redirect?
No, no further questions.
May Mr. Halderson be released and excused?
He may.
Thank you.
I thought they mentioned something about she not having family. Somebody had mentioned that once before. I kind of wonder, like he said, they were very COVID conscious. I really feel like the mom was the one that doted on the boys, and probably where Chandler gets his, oh, help me, I need attention thing from. I kind of wonder about that. Yeah, that is so sad. That did he say it was the day his brother died that the last time he talked to him? Oh my word. Oy vey. All right. They are rubbish, Irene. I love that word. Rubbish. Rubbish.
Good afternoon. If you can do so comfortably and responsibly, we would appreciate testimony without a mask
Okay,
on for purposes of a witness. Thank you so much. Go right ahead, Attorney Raymond.
Good afternoon. Could you please state your first and last name for the record and spell both?
Yes. Lisa, Lisa. Last name is Murray, Murray.
And Ms. Murray, where did you live in July of 2021?
At 4593 Oak Springs Circle in DeForest.
And you have kind of an interesting history with the 4595 Oak Springs Circle address. What is that history?
The 4595 Oak Springs address, or the Halderson home, used to be my mother's home. She purchased the home in 1982, lived there until she passed away in 2009. I lived there for 2 or 3 years, and then I owned the vacant lot next door and built a new house right next door.
Okay. So fair to say you're very familiar with the neighborhood and with that home in particular.
Correct.
Did you know Bart and Krista Halderson?
I did.
How did you know them?
Being neighbors, just in the yard, how are you? Just chit chat.
Were you familiar with Chandler Halderson?
I had met Chandler maybe once or twice.
So you knew who he was, but not any particular intimate knowledge.
Correct.
Did you, though, have a conversation with Chandler Halderson on July 8th of 2021?
Yes, the morning of July 8th, about roughly 8:30 in the morning, somebody rang our doorbell. I answered the door and then called Jay, and Chandler was at the door and had just said, "Hi, I'm Chandler from next door." And we just said, we're sorry about your mom and dad, and he said, yeah, weird. And I think the next thing he said is he was looking for help. So he was looking to see if we had seen anything, if we had surveillance cameras or Ring doorbell. I responded no, that we did not have a Ring doorbell. And then I think, I think we kind of started asking maybe a little bit of questions.
What'd you ask?
Well, I know Jay asked, are you the one with the neck brace? Because we had heard that one of the kids had fallen and had a neck brace. And Jay had just mentioned, is that you or your brother? And he goes, no, it's me. And Jay said, do you need to wear that? And he responded, no. And then he explained a bit about his parents, that somebody had picked him up. And he wasn't quite sure who had picked him up. And I guess it was unusual because we started asking questions and said, well, wouldn't that other couple be missing?
What, if anything, did Chandler say to that?
He said, no, not necessarily. He said that other couple might have been going on to their next trip or continued on with their trip. And Jay had said, wouldn't they need to bring your parents back?
And did Chandler have any response to that?
He didn't have a response. He just was maybe an awkward silence and just said, I don't understand. My dad always drives.
What? He's so weird. Welcome, Julie.
How did that conversation end?
I think it had just become, uncomfortable for him. And after that, it was more, he just kind of turned around. I'm sorry, I did miss one part early on when he was asking about if we had surveillance. We said no, but we do know that other people down the street have high security system, or we also know other people that have Ring doorbells. I'm sorry, I missed that part. So
that's okay.
But how it ended was he just kind of turned around and walked off the front porch, went down to the end of the driveway and looked left, looked right, and just started walking down the street to the left.
Ms. Murray, I'm going to approach you and have you look at what has been marked as Exhibit 54. Could you please describe Exhibit 54 for the jury?
Exhibit 54 is a picture of a window that I took.
Good catch, Grandma.
Of whose house?
This is the Halderson's home. The picture is the west side facing window into the garage. There are two side windows into the garage. This is the one that is the closest near the pond or the lake.
Is this the
And
fireplace?
what date did you take that picture?
I took it on July 7th at 5:20 p.m.
And does Exhibit 54 appear to be a true and accurate print of that picture that you took?
Yes.
I would move Exhibit 54 into evidence.
Any objection? No. It is received.
Coffee cake. Is this the fireplace? Is this the lady who had the picture of the fireplace going?
And I would ask to publish.
You may. The photo should show up on the computer monitor.
Okay.
Now,
Pretty much.
Ms. Murray, why in the world did you take a picture of your neighbor's window?
It was very unusual that the window was open. It was July, it was very hot. And those windows are never open. That side of the house, we see out that side of the house from three different sets of windows, from our kitchen, from our dining room, and from our sunroom. We can see that side. And there's only 4 windows on that side of the house. I've never seen a window open there.
See, you guys, I told you there was going to be people around them that was suspicious of him from the get-go. She's one of them. Another one. That's the second one we found.
And that struck you as unique and you wanted to document it in some way?
Very unique.
Is that window, you've lived in this home, is that window difficult to get to?
It is. It's kind of an awkward window. With it being at the end of the house, you have to walk around the cars to get there. I've never been in the home since the Haldersons owned it. You have to kind of, we owned it, you had to fall over a workbench area to get to the window. So it really was an awkward window to open.
And the Haldersons had lived in that home approximately 5 years?
Correct.
And to your knowledge, that's the only time you observed that window open was July 7th of 2021?
Correct.
No further questions.
Cross-examination?
Just to be clear, that window goes into the garage,
Correct.
and you didn't have any recent reason to know what was the layout inside the garage at that time, correct?
I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear you.
Sure.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
You hadn't been in that garage recently, correct?
Correct.
That's all. Thank you.
Any redirect?
No.
May this witness be excused and released from subpoenas.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your time. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you.
Nice effort. One question. Really?
State calls Eric Novak to the stand.
Sorry, guys. That's what they do when they have their little bar sidebars. Julie, I think it's just because these are the ones that are allowed to be televised. I don't think that has anything to do with the... I mean, look at how great of a town Waukesha was, you know? Yeah, that lady used to live in the house. Well, her mom lived in there, and then she lived in there for a short time, and then she moved in after her mom died, and then she ended up building on the lot next door. So at the time that this all occurred, she was the neighbor. Julie, you're not too late in catching up on this, though, honey, because we're just getting into the good stuff. Stuff's starting to come out. I don't know who this kid is. Probably a neighbor.
Good afternoon. Could you please state both your first and last name and spell both for the record?
Eric Novak, ERICNOVAK.
And can you just pull that microphone right in front of your mouth there?
The fans are running, and some tones of voice don't get picked up as well. So we want you to be comfortable. That can be moved as close as can be.
Eric, do you know somebody by the name of Chandler Halderson?
Yes.
How do you know Chandler Halderson?
I met him in middle school and we've been friends since then. And we lived together 2 years ago.
Okay. I believe the court will probably direct everyone but the jury to remove their masks for a few seconds. But do you see Mr. Halderson in the courtroom today?
Before answering, I would ask anyone who's not in the jury box to lower their mask as I count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and replace your masks.
Yes.
Could you identify him by where he's seated and the color of his shirt?
He's seated on that table, third from the right, and he's wearing a black suit.
Okay. Thank you. At some point in time, did you learn, or from a news story or wherever, that Mr. Halderson's parents were missing?
Yes,
And did you reach out to Mr. Halderson?
I did.
I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 56. Is Exhibit 56, is it fair to say that is screenshots of messages between you and Chandler?
Yes.
And you call him Chaz?
Yes.
I would move Exhibit 56 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
It is received.
All right, and there should be a little screen in front of you, which hopefully I'll try to move it so you can read. And I just thought it might be easiest just to read through these. So is the blue part what you say?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and read what you first wrote to Chandler?
Hey, Chaz, saw a post about your parents. Wanted to check up with you. If you need anything or I can do anything to help, happy to do it.
And then Chaz responds, and you sent that message on July 8th at 10:55 a.m.?
Yes.
Okay. And it appears that Chandler responds, I appreciate it. I'm sorry, but I don't have a name to this number. So who may this be?
Eric.
Sorry, I can't think of anything to do. I've searched the house with the cops for clues, but I couldn't find anything. Fingers crossed that they get the court order to open up their laptop.
That was weird.
And then I believe
They went up to the cabin, right? They haven't tried tracking their phones?
we need a court order for that. Every time I call, it goes straight to voicemail. So I think the phones are off or out of range.
Okay, hopefully they move on that. When were they supposed to be back?
Monday, Tuesday.
Have you been able to reach them at all since they left?
They said Monday, but I don't know when they made it because of the reception.
I see. I'm not really sure what to do either
Or how to help.
or how to help.
All right. And that was basically your conversation via text with Chandler
Yes.
on July 8th. So I know you don't know a lot about this case, but during your friendship with Chandler, did you guys ever go swimming?
Yes.
Where'd you guys go swimming?
We went up to a beach in Sauk City.
Okay, I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 55. Could you please describe Exhibit 55?
So on the right of the picture, that's kind of the area we would walk to. And then we'd swim over there and go to the sandbar in the middle.
Okay. So you said over to the right. I don't think everyone can see that.
So this is where his mom was just
Over to the right here is where you would walk to.
Yes.
Okay. And then you would swim to the sandbar in the middle.
Yes.
And does this picture, Exhibit 55, appear to be a true and accurate depiction of that area as far as you know it?
As far as I know, yes.
All right. I'd move Exhibit 55 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
It is received.
No further questions.
Any questions?
No, thank you.
No,
May the
thank
witness
you.
be excused and released?
He may be excused but not released.
You are excused from any further testimony today, but you're still under subpoena to the state. Thank you very much. Have a good remainder of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Okay. So that was just linking him to the area where his mother's found. Am I correct? Are you guys like picking up what they're laying down here? I know all these witnesses are super quick, but I mean, the defense isn't asking questions, so yeah, JPC, they're putting the pieces together. Let's keep going. I want to go back over to this other guy. I don't know about you guys, but I could watch some more. I've got the thing with Brooke set up for around 4 o'clock, I think. So that's a while away. Let's go ahead and continue. We've only been on an hour. This went faster than I thought it would. Frankie. Swimming
Sir,
hole.
if you are willing and believe you can safely and responsibly testify without a mask, that would be our preference at this time. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Could you please state and spell your name, both first and last, for the record?
Jay Gilbertson, first name J-A-Y, second name Gilbertson.
Where do you live, Mr. Gilbertson?
Could you, I have a little trouble hearing, can you?
Oh, sure. Yep. Yell at me if I'm not loud enough. Where did you reside in July of 2021?
In the forest, right next door to the Haldersons,
Okay.
to the west.
And did you know Bart and Krista Halderson?
Yes,
Just as neighbors or anything more?
pretty much just neighbors, cordial, how you doing in the backyard type stuff. Never at their house, inside their house, never did anything with them, just that kind of cordial relationship.
You are correct, Julie.
Sure. Before the event of Bart and Krista going missing, did you know Chandler Halderson?
I may have seen him, but I'm not sure I knew the two brothers apart, which one was Mitchell and which one was Chandler. I know I've waved to the boys at least one or two times.
Okay. And on July 8th, do you happen to you end up having a conversation with Chandler Halderson? Is that true?
That is true.
What was the nature of that conversation?
He stopped over about 8:30, I think, in the morning. He said, "Hi, I'm Chandler." I'm paraphrasing. I said, "Hi." I said, "It's really weird about your parents." He goes, "Yeah." And I said, I said, I asked him something about the people that he went with, or the people that they went with, and were they missing too? He said, not necessarily, or he didn't know. He talked about sending a friend or a relative to his parents' cottage to look for him. And he also asked if we had a security camera or surveillance equipment, and I said, no, we didn't.
Okay, did you have any discussion at all about a neck brace?
I did ask him, I said, are you the one that fell down and had a neck brace, or was that your brother? And he said, no, it was me. And I said, oh, don't have to wear it, I guess, or something like that.
And was he wearing it on the 8th?
No.
And you said you had a discussion with him about the other couple. Did you mean the couple that supposedly had picked up Bart and Krista?
Right. I said, well, have you heard from them? Are they missing too? And he said, no, or not that he knows of, or something along those lines. And he said, I said, well, if they're missing, how are your parents going to get back from the cabin, or something along those lines? And he said he didn't think they were with them, or they were coming back, or it was kind of vague.
Do you remember telling detectives in connection with this investigation that Chandler had told you that the other couple might have just continued on with their trip?
Yes.
Did that make any sense to you?
No. I'd never seen Bart or Krista get in a car with anybody else.
You know what's weird about that, guys, is supposedly he told the cops he didn't know who these people were. He never met them. He wasn't even sure of their names, yet he had this suspicion that they kept on with their journey. What? They kept on with their journey? Really?
And what was Chandler Halderson's demeanor like during this conversation with you?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was Mr. Halderson Chandler's demeanor like during this conversation with you?
It was a little, maybe not nervous, because I can't really tell. I'd never spoke with him, but maybe a little nervous or detached, or not all the way tuned in. As soon as I said some other people might have surveillance cameras in the neighborhood, he said, well, he was going to go talk with them. And then he just left, turned around, and I said, I think we said something like, good luck.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Any cross-examination?
Just to be clear, Mr. Gilbertson, you've never spoken with Chandler Halderson before that day, correct?
I do not think so.
If
Again,
you-
I don't know. I didn't really know the names of the two brothers. I might have said hi, but it was never a long conversation.
And when you say you never saw Krista or Bart get into a car with other people, it's fair to say you're not watching them all the time,
No,
correct?
absolutely not.
Thank you.
Any redirect?
No.
May this witness be excused and released from his subpoena?
Yes.
Sir, thank you for your time
All
today.
done.
Have a good.
That's that one. Let go of that one now. So Patty, I'm gonna do a stream with just his interview, because I think it was fairly long, and I want to make sure I've got all of it, because I don't think it was all put out there. But here's the deal. So to fill everybody in. So it was 4th of July weekend coming up, right? So on July 1st, his dad finds out he's been lying about everything. He had told his parents he was in college. He had a job. He had a new job offer at SpaceX. But on July 1st, his dad had been putting together the pieces and finally confronted Chandler and said, we need to sit down and talk, because I know something's up. That's when they believed that him and his dad were the only ones at the house. They say he shot his dad. So then he lured, or when his mom came home from work, he then unalived her. And that while on July 1st, from July 1st, evening of July 1st, all the way through July 7th, this is kind of filling in the pieces where all these people are talking to him. speculation what's going on, but I think it was on the 7th is when the cops brought him in, and they knew something was going on at that point. And the 7th was also about the time that they were interviewing him, was the same time that they were finding out that his part of his father was discovered. So that's kind of where we're going into, but this is just kind of the right after it all happened, what Chandler was saying type pieces. You know what you with me? Yeah, you do have to have really good memory, and most people don't. That's how they get caught. They forget their lies, and sometimes people tell so many lies that they can't keep up with them all. Okay, now we got the main detective back on the stand, you guys.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Name still spelled the same as yesterday?
Yes, it is.
In the course of this case, many times, and you found yourself with other law enforcement officers over at the Halderson residence, correct?
Correct.
And at times, people were conducting varying levels of searches of that home. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
When you conduct a search of a home, when I say varying levels of searches, meaning some are more invasive or destructive than others, right?
Definitely.
Early on in this case, people were looking around the home, but maybe weren't being wholly invasive or wholly destructive at that time, correct?
Yes.
And for instance, you walked around the home at one point.
Yes.
Were you at that time with other detectives ripping out drawers and throwing things on the floor?
No.
What kind of search were you doing initially in the home?
When I was first there, initially we were just doing a visual search, consensual, consented to by Chandler Halderson.
You were looking around.
Yes.
At some point later on in the investigation, a very thorough search was done by someone who specializes kind of in searching homes, right?
Yes.
Deputy Greg Leatherberry, who's going to testify in this case, correct?
Correct.
And prior to that search being conducted by Deputy Leatherberry and his staff and the people that work with him, was a video taken of the entire Halderson home to try to document the state it was in, at least to the best of your ability before that more intrusive, destructive search was completed?
Yes.
And those videos are long, aren't they?
Yes.
And in fact, this one's an hour and a half, isn't it?
It's very thorough video.
And there's no narration to it.
Correct.
Doesn't make for engaging viewing always, right?
No.
The video has the ability to be sped up, correct?
Yes.
And you've seen it sped up in preparation for this case, correct?
I have.
And in fact, it can be sped up to 1/3 so that the video is less than an hour long.
Yes.
In speeding it up, in your view, having been in the Halderson home and having watched the original, does it change the quality of the video at all or what you're able to see?
It does not.
It just moves it along a little bit quicker?
Yes.
What is the purpose of these walkthrough videos that are done by law enforcement?
These walkthrough videos will document the home as is prior to any searches, just documenting how the home was found basically on law enforcement's first arrival.
Sure. And they'll go into every single room?
Yes.
And they'll open up drawers and things like that?
They do.
I'm going to show you what's been marked in this case as exhibit number 543. Just feel around, and you've seen this before. In fact, a couple hours ago you saw it. This is a USB drive, correct?
It feels like it, yes.
Containing the video of the walkthrough in the home?
Yes.
Okay, I'll move exhibit 543 in evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
It is received.
We'll get it queued up, and I'll move to publish it.
Yeah, just keep in mind, I don't know if the crazy KC put somebody in timeout, but what happens is if you say a word or something that you shouldn't on YouTube, she might delete it, and when she does that, it might put you in a brief timeout. That's probably all that happened. I'm assuming Laura and Barbara, or not Laura, but Louise.
So as we're getting it queued up, and if you could switch to HDMI and rewind. Thank you. Just to preface this, again, this is going to be a walkthrough of the Halderson home. We'll pause it right there at 4595 Oak Spring Circle. And it's going to take, well, it says an hour and 28 minutes and 55 seconds. We're going to speed it up by about a third. It's going to be just under an hour, correct?
Yes.
And I will hit play here in a second. Judge, if you wanted to dim the lights, and I know everyone probably wants to get comfortable, it's going to take a minute.
All right, I might have to speed this. Okay. I was speculating then. You know, I was sleuthing. All right, let's see. If we're not going to be talking, Frankie's whining. Frankie, not now, honey. Not now. We're going to speed up to... This is actually pretty good, though. Good stuff to watch. We'll see what speed we should be at on this. Ooh, they have that taped up. That's weird. The windows taped up? There's the blankets they were talking about. But why are there but still, is that for the dog hair? Is that what they were saying that keeps, because the dogs get on the couch and stuff? Is that why they said that was there? So where are these renovations going on at? It's not here in the living room. What the hell's up with that desk? A fan. Ooh. Well, I mean, you know, she might have needed a fan if she had hot flashes. I know that. Ooh, the fireplace. Outgoing mail. Incoming mail. Probably mail that he mailed to himself. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. I had to say that. I think their day got interrupted. This is why everything's sitting here like it is. Oh, there's the note. He set that up like they were gone. She probably used to do that in the past. Yeah, I think the dad got his work day interrupted. The renovations are upstairs, Irene? Okay, thank you. It is a lovely home. Me at work with one eye on one screen of working. Oh, okay, Casey. Gotcha, honey. Thanks. I like brick walls inside a home. I know that's kind of old school, but I do. I like them. But this part of the house is nothing compared to where the garage was. Y'all remember how neat the garage was? I mean, it was ridiculously neat. So it must be dad that's the neat person, and mom's like trying to work and feed a family. Of course, some of this too could have been Chandler's mess after he did. Did they ever say that they found, other than the garage, did they find anything anywhere else? Any evidence of blood? Are you guys okay with the speed? Because it's a long video. Something open back. Oh, is that this? That's the cabinets. So this had to have been right as they came in, right? When they got the search warrant. That's why they're documenting the way everything looked. Oh, yeah. The basement was ridiculous, which I'm sure they'll show that again. Dishwasher's full. Wonder if it's clean. American fridges. Are they different than y'all's, Irene? They find it in the basement, but how did he lure them to the basement? Is that the only area he had to worry about? No, Tim B, this isn't live. Welcome back in, Tim. This is the Chandler Halderson trial. This is months old. Might be a year old. It was just one that always was very, very interesting to me. So I wanted to do a thing on it. Because it gets deep. Oh, they do send you little pop-ups, Casey? I didn't know that. I agree. I don't like the side-by-sides either, Patty. Side-by-side refrigerators are just, yeah. What's going on here? Okay, this is from the staircase. Oh, that's what they were talking about, the tri-level. That's cool. I like that floor plan. Goes down into, is that a living area? A living space? A dining area? Oh, Robin. They don't make tri-level homes like they used to, do they? I always kind of liked them. So the dining, I see the floor. It looks like they're redoing the floor. Or did he pull that up after the fact? Looks like the floor is being redone. There's another fan, y'all. Oh, there's the couch fort. The couch fort. That's where they were sleeping. That's so weird. That's so weird. That's one of those automatic air conditioners, isn't it? The little... Why would he sleep there instead of in his bedroom? Because of the renovations? But it looks like the floors are being redone on here too, though. Or did he pull up the carpet? I gotta go back to the chat and see what y'all are talking about. The parents in a couch fort. I think, Crazy Casey, I think YouTube's making a lot of changes lately, and it's messing some stuff up, but some stuff is improving. They're working out the tweaks, I guess. Did that look like a humidifier to you? Looked like a portable AC unit to me, but it could have been a humidifier. Oh, that's right. Too far to get to the bathroom since he fell. That's right. Thank you, Louise, for reminding me of that. He is such a weirdo. So supposedly, for those of you who don't know, he fell down. should be paying more attention to the fireplace. He fell down. This isn't the fireplace that busted though, because it's got the glass isn't busted, is it? Or is it on one side? Oh, no, it is. This is the one. This is the fireplace, y'all. So, could this be why the carpet's gone in this room? I don't know if they ever verify that or not, but I'm thinking so. And all he has to say is, well, we were renovating that too. Because we're renovating upstairs. We're also going to replace the carpet. Yeah, he had to clean the fireplace out. Are y'all seeing more commercials on these live streams? Is it me, my channel, or is it others too? Because I tried to fix that. Well, hello, Tony. Welcome in. We're watching the Halderson home, what was recorded by the detectives. Oh, I like that shelving unit right there. That's pretty cool. Yes, Tequila, you are correct. Yeah, he said that he made that box fort and he was sleeping down there because he had to be close to the bathroom, a bathroom that was not being renovated. Okay. I'm thinking that too. It's like you got to crawl over the box fort couch. Box fort couch. Sorry, couldn't help it. I like the home. It's nice. Huge shower. Love that. Shower doesn't have a door to it? I'm confused. Guess not. Check out the trash can. What you got? I do too. I have the premium coffee cake. As much as I watch YouTube, it was worth it. I watch that more than anything else. So when you do ads. Yeah, somebody was definitely regularly using this bathroom. Let's see. Yes, a lot of commercials now. I'm sorry, y'all. Julie, you sound like me. It does seem like more commercials. The commercials is how I get paid. I hope y'all are okay with that. Ooh. See, I like that shelving unit. That's cool looking. Well, I mean, that's kind of, he knew that he would be kicked out if he wasn't going to school and working. And what led up to it, guys, is that basically he wasn't getting, there was no income coming in. And he told his dad that they'd messed up his check at work. He'd been working there for like 6 months, and that yet he didn't have any money coming in. I guess the parents were probably trying to get him to pay for something. Obviously he didn't have a car. That surprised me. I kind of would think that he would have had a car at 23 years old, but it doesn't look like it. He just used mom and dad's car. But when dad started figuring out that things weren't right and started asking questions and calling the school and calling the workplaces and emailing work and everything, that's when it all fell apart. Chandler went so far as to send emails. He was catfishing his dad, making it look like he was the school and the insurance company, discussing Chandler with his father. And he's so dumb, you guys, that even one time they got on the phone and talked, and he acted like he was somebody else to his own father. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's so dumb. It's so ridiculous. It's craziness. Oh, is it every channel? Okay, thanks, Tim. I think even if you click the skip through at some point, I still get paid. Okay, now are we in the garage? I was thinking that too, Julie. Is that another air purifier, or is that the same one? Okay, this looks a little messier than what we saw before. Guess it was just the angle. It's still organized though for a garage. Still looks clean. And unlike Chris Watts, he could move things into the car without being seen because of the garage. Oh yeah, that's a good point, Louise. You think that's what YouTube's doing? Exactly. Lazy liar. He was. He was playing video games all day, y'all. He wasn't even working. But if he put so much energy into his lies that if he'd actually had a real job, he'd taken that energy and placed it in a real job, he could have actually done well. Coffee Cake can't wait for his friend Smith to come on. Tony thinks the obsessive neatness raises red flags. But because it was the only place the excessive neatness was in the garage. So maybe that's what stood out. Why don't we see any evidence, you guys? Other than what they said there was when they luminoled the garage, they found evidence, but he must have done a pretty good cleanup. But if you were a detective, would you go, oh, okay. Okay, there's that new freezer that he just bought. The freezer was not there the first time he came by, the detective said, but now it appeared. So we think that's one of the things that Chandler went out and bought when he was coming and going from the house. So he did plan on doing something with them in the freezer. How long between the murders? So we think the police say that it happened on the 1st of July. By the 7th, 7 days, within 6-7 days, they had him in interrogation. They were suspicious. Not long. But yeah, if this area was immaculate and all the other areas were not immaculate like that, then I see why they were suspicious. They find a shell casing somewhere. That's a second freezer. That's just a long, big freezer. That's nice. Love to have something like that. Free didn't sleep for days getting things cleaned up. Probably not, Louise. Yeah, this film is from the detective. See that room? That had to have been where, because, oh, it makes sense though, you guys, with the freezer right there. This is where he brought him to do the dirty work. Oh my goodness. It takes me a minute because I'm blind, so y'all work with me. I wish I was obsessively neat too. My sister is. I think that's why I'm not. She drives me nuts. I drive her nuts. Yeah, that looked like another mini air conditioner or humidifier or whatever, portable. So my point is that if he did something to his parents in another area of the house, why is there no evidence? Why is there only evidence down here in the basement? Did he draw them to the basement to do what he needed to do? I mean, I don't think the kid's that smart to like think that far through it all. This is where he did it. Calm down. I need to show you something. See, that's what I'm thinking, coffee cake. But if he brought that freezer after the cops, after the unaliving, look at all that alcohol. Everybody said mom and dad didn't drink, but there's a lot of people that don't drink that have a full wet bar. That's why their wet bar's full, because they never drink it. Like, yeah, mom, come here. Dad, come here. Come down here. Look at this. And then that's where he did it, so that he saved cleanups area. And then he was trying to dismember. It's a great quality being neat. But when you have an area that is that clean and the rest of the house doesn't look like that, it's like, wait a minute. I wonder if that's why the detectives said something's not right. Letitia's cleanup job was horrible, Julie. She did a bad job. She's not that smart. Hey, Lori. Would y'all want to ever be a detective? I mean, that's a lot to take in. Your crime scene is this entire home, and you got to go through and figure it all out. That's a lot. Could you do it? I don't know if I could do it. Us little crime scene lovers over here, we just sit back after they've been caught and go, "Oh yeah, I see how they found him." Another fan. That's the third fan we've seen, is it not? Mom was 53 though. She may be having hot flashes and needed fans. Or did Chandler go buy a bunch of fans and had them going out the window? That was the one thing that I was thinking of. So is this supposedly the renovation area, or is they're building this room area right here? That still looks fairly neat compared to upstairs. It's just strange. So this must be Chandler's bedroom right here they're fixing to go into. or they haven't shown the bathroom upstairs yet. So they said that was the piece that was being renovated. Yeah. That's the girlfriend's last name, Melander. So this is Chandler's area, which I'd have to say for a guy, it's fairly neat, right? Depends on the guy, I guess. Oh, okay. So JPC says there's no AC, so that's probably why there's so many fans. Good point. Their summers don't get that hot. Freshly emptied trash can. Looks like the girlfriend was staying over quite often. There's a lot of her crap everywhere. Oh, you don't think it's that neat? I think for a guy, a single guy, that's pretty dang neat. I mean, well, I guess he's 23, he's grown up, but usually you go in a single person's room and there's like crap thrown everywhere, clothes all over the place. But oh, is that a gun? GUN. Oh, there's another GUN, but it might not be a real one. Okay, wait, is that the same room we were just in? Well, this room is worse. Is that Mitchell's room? There's crap all over the place. All over the bed. Is this mom and dad or Mitchell's? AR style. Now, did they pull out these drawers? Maybe the police put all this stuff on the bed. Louise, great minds think alike, Louise. A lived-in room. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I like that closet. This must be mom and dad's room. Okay, here's the renovated bathroom. Big time renovated. Redoing the whole thing. Good gracious. Speaking of hot flashes, I'm having one. I even have a remote control fan, y'all. I'm so spoiled. I like the idea, nothing to do with. I like the idea of turning a closet into a little desk area space. That's kind of cool, isn't it? You could really. It seems like they started it and didn't really finish it completely, but that's really cool looking. Just got back from grocery shopping and arranged the whole refrigerator and pantry. Oh, that's it.
That was the walkthrough video, right? Yes. And the time that was conducted, the whole purpose was to see the entire house. No one knew what was really relevant yet or not relevant yet, right?
Correct.
Okay. And while we might talk about all of the rooms in the next couple of days, fair to say that the basement of the house, the room with the fireplace, Mr. Halderson's bedroom, those will be the three primary areas that we're going to continue talking about the next few days.
Correct.
At this point in the trial, and I suppose as one of the primary investigators, we've now heard from pretty much everyone who was involved in Mr. Halderson going door to door looking for security videos, correct?
Yes.
We might hear from a few more people that were in the area, but at this point, we've heard from those folks. One of those folks, Mr. Linsmeyer, mentioned to Chandler that he should give the cops a call. In fact, you were one of the people who left a card and ultimately got some calls from Chandler, right?
Yes.
And we're going to hear about that later on in the trial?
We will.
Okay. Now, that home, the Halderson home, obviously there was a large amount of police presence there in early July of this year. At points, Chandler was there, and then at some point, I think we're all in agreement that he was arrested. In fact, you were one of the people in the room when he was arrested on the 8th in the afternoon or early evening, correct?
Correct.
From the 8th onward, so let's say July 8th when Chandler was arrested, all the way through August 4th, that house remained in the custody of the Dane County Sheriff's Department, correct?
Yes.
And it was guarded at all times, was it not?
Definitely.
Can you tell us just briefly what it means to guard a house, a crime scene guard?
Yes. So our crime scene investigators will secure the home. They'll put up some type of a evidence tape on the doorway to make sure that no one, snuck into the home. There'll be a deputy assigned to that location, to that crime scene, and they'll remain there for their entire shift. They won't leave unless they're relieved. So no bathroom breaks, no going to a restaurant. They are there guarding that home.
Sure. So from the time of Mr. Halderson's arrest on July 8th all the way through August 4th, nearly a month, at 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, there was a Dane County Sheriff's deputy guarding that home.
Yes.
And they kept a log of everyone who came and went, correct?
Correct.
And that was turned over to my office and the defense. It's a normal part of the process in the court system.
Yes.
And people who entered that home, I think we may have saw people wearing booties when they passed by a mirror. People were outfitted with appropriate equipment to protect any biological evidence when they were coming and going.
Yes.
Okay. Including yourself at times.
Correct.
Okay. No further questions at this time.
Cross-examination?
No, thank you.
No,
I would just
thank
ask
you.
one clarifying point. The deputy in charge or assigned to guard the home, did they guard from the outside or the inside?
No one's allowed inside the home except for the crime scene investigators at that time, so they are outside of the home.
Thank you. Anything in follow-up to my question?
No, thank you.
Detective, you may return back to the table.
I like how I thought I was muted again. I like how the judge asked those extra questions. He's done that twice now. Okay. I just saw something up. Blanco said he wasn't getting notifications again. I just hit. There's something called a notifications troubleshooter. But I don't know if that's in YouTube. I'm trying to figure this out, guys. Bear with me. I know that I'm notifying you guys on my end when I upload something. But when it comes to a live stream, it's different. And it says if you're subscribed to a channel but you aren't getting all notifications, follow these instructions to turn on all notifications. Go to the channel for which you'd like to get all notifications and click subscribe, click all. Well, y'all have done that, right? You click the bell and you chose all, right? It says on your phone, you need to check your settings on your phone for the notifications. See, I think this is a YouTube thing. I don't think it's a phone thing. There's a whole Reddit thing on this, y'all. I know when I get notifications a lot of time, they go to my spam email. Just depends on how you have it set up. There's got to be a way to fix it, though. Okay, let me go back and look at y'all's chats here. All right. Okay, Louise said, you would think that all Chaz injuries, he fell down a lot of stairs. That not many. You know what? You're right, Louise. I mean, when somebody says they fell down the stairs, I think a long flight of stairs was like he didn't have that far to fall. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, I just felt like, I don't know. There's gotta be, hey, Mark, there's gotta be something. Lori says she's getting all the notifications. I don't know. I did troubleshoot it one day. I posted something on the community wall about it, but I'm not sure it's even going through anymore. I do apologize, y'all. Don't know what to say about that. All right. So when I close out of this one, you're gonna go straight to the screen for our stream later tonight today with Darrell. So you guys make sure you click the notify on that so that you'll be back for that because it's gonna be fun. We're gonna do the day one, the morning of day one. So it should be very interesting because that's the day he started taking his clothes off. I don't know if he took his shirt off or if it got torn off of him because he was fighting with the guards. I don't know. I'll put a thing into YouTube and let them know we're still having issues with people not finding them. Maybe if I get something back, I'll post it in community for you guys. Okay. I apologize. You're not getting them. I hear it though when I'm on other channels. I hear people say the same thing though. So I feel like it might be a YouTube thing. Yeah. Patty says other channels are having the same issues and they're getting unsubscribed. Now that pisses me off. I could see them saying, okay, well, you haven't been to this channel in 5 years. We're unsubscribing you from it. I get that. But if you're actively watching a channel and they unsubscribe you, that would tick me off. Just goes to show you guys we're all controlled by the system. Oh, Lord. Okay. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. And make sure you go in and when I cut off here, make sure you click on that thing for DB, okay? And I'll see y'all then. Have a good afternoon.